Welcome back, YouTube. Sensei Domino here. Welcome to the Spine Ticks After Party. Got some great stuff to share with you tonight. I have a contest win, a few eBay pickups. I'll be showing a small set from 1935, Amalgamated Press, the Pilot, Football Fame, and I'll also be showing the rest of the 1982 Topps Baseball starter set that I've been showing over the last couple weeks. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the contest win. So, a couple weeks ago, Card Wolf reached 800 subscribers, and if you aren't subscribed to Card Wolf, definitely go check him out. Amazing channel. Him and the pack opening machine open some great stuff, and a big fan of his channel. And every time he reaches a 100 subscriber milestone, he buys a small collection and shows it on his channel and has you send him an email with a small list of cards that you'd like from the collection. And I didn't see the video right away when it was put out. I think I saw it like 6 or 7 days later. And so I just sent him a message of congratulations. And he replied to my message saying that he was still sending out cards, and if I wanted some cards from the collection to send him a list. And so very grateful of him to allow me to enter late. But the cards arrived, and really happy to get some of these cards. Let me go ahead and show you the note. So it says, Tony, thank you for your support and encouragement of the channel. I can't tell you how much it means to me. 800 subscriptions is an amazing milestone for me. I hope that you enjoy these cards and enjoy the channel as well. CW. Card Wolf. That's just a cool design right there. Like the 72 Topps. Very cool. So again, congratulations, Card Wolf, on 800 subscribers. Can't wait to see you reach 1,000 subscribers and more. Very, very well deserved. But it looks like he sent me 7 cards. We'll start with a 1984. What is this? Ralston Purina. Steve Carlton. This one's a little rough, has some creasing in it, but I remember having a lot of these cards in my collection when I was younger. No idea how I got them. I didn't have a dog, but had probably 7 or 8 of these. I don't think I had the Carlton, though. But definitely a cool little set. This is the first annual collector's edition. I'm not sure how many years they did it, but definitely remember this design and remember this set well. So happy to get this one. This is another card from a set that I bought quite a few of. I would say that I probably had half of the set, but I don't think I had this card. This is a 1987 Topps, what is this called? Major League Leaders Mini of Jose Canseco. And he was probably the biggest player in baseball around this time. This is pretty similar to his 87 Topps card, the image anyway. So definitely a cool card. And I am a pretty big Canseco fan. And he sent me another Canseco as well. And I had never seen this set. I've never heard of the company. But I think probably the complete set was within this collection. And so really happy to get the Canseco from this. This is a 2020 Club put out by Ames in 1989. Really cool looking card. And it documents his 88 season where he became the first player to reach 40-40, which I remember when that happened, thinking it was so amazing that he did that. Definitely a cool card. Next, I haven't seen a whole lot of these. I knew about this set, never had any, but I am a big fan of star cards, especially with the basketball. But happy to get this one. This is a 1986 Star. And I guess Star made a Wally Joyner set. And this is the Angels Phenom card. And this is in really nice shape. And I would guess that they made some sort of a puzzle. The back looks like a puzzle piece. Definitely a cool card. And then we have a couple vintage cards. We have a 1972 Topps Ralph Garr. Love this set. This and the 75 are probably my 2 favorite sets of the 70s. Unfortunately, this one has a little bit of paper loss on the back, but still definitely a cool card. And I think Ralph Garr signs, actually. So this might go out as a TTM or something. And we also have a 1977 Topps Dan Dreesen. He was part of the big red machine of the 70s. Nice player. And I am trying to pick up little starter sets and stuff of all these cards in the mid to late 70s, the sets in the mid to late 70s. And so did not have this Dan Dreesen, so I'll stick this in with the 1977 Topps cards that I have. And the last one, and really happy to get this one. This is another starter set that I showed recently on my channel. And I do have this card, but it's got a giant hole punch in it. So this one's much nicer. And this guy was one of the hottest prospects around this time. 1980, he won the AL Rookie of the Year. And didn't quite pan out, but it's Joe Charbonneau. Joe Charbonneau's rookie card, 1981 Topps. It's definitely a cool card there. And I'll be able to slide this right into my 81 Topps starter set. So thank you again, Card Wolf. Really appreciate your amazing generosity. And if you haven't checked out Card Wolf's channel, like I said, definitely go check it out. Amazing channel, and really, really, really love the content that he puts out. So thank you again, Card Wolf. All right, so next, last week I showed a group of autographs that I picked up from the Autograph Den on eBay, and I showed mostly hockey. I think there were two football cards and one basketball card, but it was mostly hockey. And I mentioned that I was going to save the baseball for this week. I knew that I was picking up, some I would call them larger purchases, but I was picking up some cards that were kind of eating up the funds that I had for the month pretty quickly, and so I wanted to save this for this week to have a little bit more content. But honestly, I think I have enough content anyway. But I'll go ahead and show these now since I said I would. I think there's probably like 30 cards or something here. These are all baseball, and there's not any really big names. There's some all-stars, maybe even multiple-time all-stars in here, but nobody big. And I would guess that most of these guys TTM. There might be a handful in here that don't, but happy to get autographs and didn't spend a whole lot for these. I want to say like $1.50 or something might have been the most that I paid for any of these, and got a nice combined shipping deal. And I think it was $1.50 shipping for these cards, and each additional card was 30 cents shipping or something. So most of the cost was actually in the shipping, because some of these I was winning for a penny. So let's go ahead and get started. We have a 1982 Fleer, Steve Renko. Next, actually really happy to get this one. I do have a TTM from this individual, but this is a great card. This is a 1985 Topps Traded Tiffany. Now, I don't have any Tiffany cards from 85, the regular set or the traded. And to have the Tiffany of this guy is pretty cool. So this is Toby Harrah. This is his return to Texas after spending several years away. And definitely a great TTM signer. But this is the Topps Traded Tiffany. Definitely a cool card to get. And I believe he was a 4-time All-Star, so he might have the most All-Star appearances of anybody in this group. Next, we have a couple autographs from this guy. First, we'll start with 1986 Fleer. This is Steve Crawford. And we also have him on the 1988 Topps. Next, we have another 88 Topps. Definitely a fan favorite here in Texas. Steve Buechele. Did not have any Steve Buechele autographs. He was kind of tough to get at the Ranger games. So definitely happy to get this. Definitely a fan favorite, with his last name, Buechele. When he was announced by the PA guy, everybody would be like, boo. I always thought that was cool. Those boos were cheers for this guy. He was a pretty good defensive third baseman, too. Had a little bit of pop. Obviously, double-digit home run hitter, but yeah, you spent probably 7 years, maybe 8 years here in Texas. Nice player. Next, we have a 1989 Upper Deck. I actually got this guy's autograph after a Ranger game in the early 90s, but I don't think he was with this team. I think he was with the Angels at that time. But this is Scott Bales. So definitely happy to get his autograph on a card. And I think he spent a year in Texas as well. But remember, he was a really nice guy. He actually signed for everybody that was there. And I still have the autographed baseball. I'm not sure where it is. It's in a box somewhere, but yeah, definitely happy to get his autograph on a card. And this 89 Upper Deck set, being the first Upper Deck set, it's kind of iconic. Maybe a step off of iconic, but at least the Griffey's iconic. But that set, it's still a nice set. It really set the standard for things to come. Next, we have 4 autographs from this individual. I remember this guy was like a really hot prospect around this time. Didn't quite pan out. He kind of became like a journeyman. I think he was like a middle reliever type pitcher. Might have been a starter for a little bit, but Steve Carsey. This is his 1991 Bowman. But he and Todd Van Poppel around this time were 2 of the bigger pitching prospects. Neither quite panned out. Carsey probably had a better career than Van Poppel, though. And this is the 1991 score. It says right here, like Todd Van Poppel, Steve said he wanted to go to college. Every team passed on the hard-throwing righty until Toronto grabbed him with the 21st pick. So, and he does have a really nice signature. Look at that; it's kind of gorgeous. That's some great penmanship right there. Next, we have this is a 1990. Is this 2 or 3? I think this is 1992 Upper Deck. Having a hard time reading that. I think it says 1992. I think it's 92 Upper Deck. I'll go with that. This is the, I guess, the Upper Deck Minor League. Steve Carsey. And the last one is 1992-93 Fleer Excel. Steve Carsey. All right, next, this was definitely a fan favorite here in Texas. Really enjoyed watching this guy play. I mean, he left it all out on the field. Just great defensive center fielder. Great average hitter. He hit for a good average, and just literally tore up his body playing for the team. And eventually, injuries forced him to retire, but fantastic fan favorite, fantastic player for the franchise. I believe he's in the Rangers Hall of Fame. He should be if he isn't. Rusty Greer. And this is his 1991 Classic Best pre-rookie. Remember buying a lot of this stuff, but never got the Rusty Greer. Definitely a cool card. Probably one of my favorite autographs from this group for sure. And I also picked up another autograph of his. This is 1997 score. Here he is now with the Rangers. What team was he playing for in this one? The Charlotte Rangers. He was a Charlotte Ranger here. Now he's with the big club. You look at some of his average stats. His first year he batted .314, then .271. Then this right here, .332. He had a career average through 3 years at .307. So definitely a nice player, average-wise. was 27. All right, next, this was a really nice power hitter during his time. Hit for kind of a mid 250s average, but he was a nice player for a while, and was a pretty big fan of this guy, Tom Bernansky. I think he was a one-time All-Star. Might have been 85 or 86. And several years with Minnesota. Went to St. Louis, and here he is with Boston. I want to say he might have played a year in Japan as well, but don't quote me on that. I might be wrong. And we also have him on the 1992 score. All right, next, was a pretty big fan of this guy. He was kind of a light-hitting shortstop. He was more known for his defense. He also spent some time as a coach for the Rangers. Spike Owen. Here we have him on the 1992 Donruss. I remember buying at least 2 boxes of this back in the day, trying to get those new, harder to pull Diamond Kings, and I think the Donruss Elite might have been in here as well. But I definitely bought a lot of this product around this time. All right, next, this was another sort of hot prospect around this time. And I think eventually he became a 30-30 guy, but his career didn't quite pan out. But I kind of liked that the autograph on this was signed in kind of like a purple Sharpie. You don't see that very often, but it's Preston Wilson. This is a 93-94 Fleer Excel. I think he was with the Marlins when he did the 30 for 30, but I didn't write it down, so I might be wrong on that. But I believe he's also related to Mookie Wilson. So that's kind of cool. Next, Brian B. Hurst actually mentioned that this guy had a really nice signature, and then I saw that there were several of this guy's autographs for sale on Autograph Den, so I had to pick a couple up, and he's right. This guy's got a really nice signature. This guy was a pretty decent player. He didn't make any All-Star teams, if I remember right, but still a nice player. Happy to get a couple autographs from him. This is 1994 Classic. And I guess this might be a subset called Cream of the Crop. It's Shannon Stewart. And he does have a really nice autograph. Got it here with a fine point Sharpie. But the other one's in a more of a normal Sharpie. Here's the other one. This is a 1994 Classic Best Gold. Shannon Stewart. All right, next, this is another 1994 Classic Best Gold. This guy was the first overall draft pick. I don't remember what year. I wonder if it says on the back here. I would guess 92. I think he was the first overall pick by the Astros. Was a nice player. I think he might have even made like one All-Star team or something like that. But he did spend some time with the Rangers. He was a pretty good power hitting third baseman / first baseman. This might have been the card I paid the most for. It might have been $1.25 or $1.50 or something. But this is Phil Nevin. I think he was just recently the manager of the Angels, if I remember right. He was a pretty nice player. All right, next, this is another guy that I kind of enjoyed watching. This is a 1994-95 Fleer Excel. And I believe he hit 40 home runs in the season at one point. Richard Hidalgo. I think he might have spent a season with the Rangers, maybe 2. But I think he spent most of his career with the Astros. This looks like it's some sort of like league leader subset or something, 10 to 20. I do kind of like that they sort of like fuzzed out the back or something like that, so it kind of has a cool look to the card. Puts all the focus on the hitter. Pretty cool. All right, next, I'll say this, that I would not have bought this card if I had known the story. But when I was looking up some of these players before, I guess it was last week, before I started recording videos, um, I saw that this guy was actually sitting in jail because he was accused of sexually assaulting his kid. So yeah, I wouldn't have bought this card if I had known that, because that's about as horrible as you can get, outside of murder or something. But yeah, he was a pretty nice player, but this Juan Encarnacion. But not really happy that I purchased this at this point, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But next, these are a couple autographs that I guess were pack pulled. I want to say this is 1999. Or is that 98? I think this is 1999. SP Signature Edition. This is Russell Branyan. And there were probably 35 of these cards for sale on the autograph den. And I wanted to win several others. But unfortunately, once I won this one, I couldn't win anything else. So I had to kind of lower my expectations on the next couple that I ended up winning. Just so I could bundle it, because I had actually already shipped off the other ones that are in this lot. And so I didn't want to spend $1.50 for one card. So I ended up just picking up what I could, and most of the bigger names were getting picked up and purchased for quite a bit. So I did end up with this Russell Branyan, and the next one I literally just bought it to have something to bundle with. This is D. Brown. He was, I guess, kind of a okay player. Wasn't really anything special, but yeah, I wanted to have something else to send with the Russell Branyan, so picked this up. This is also the 99 SP Signature. And then this one, I didn't even realize when I won it that this wasn't actually, like on the back, you can see that the ones that are from the set say congratulations. This one doesn't, so this was clearly like a TTM or something like that, and this is Juan Mello. I do think I paid a penny for this, but yeah, this is not a pack pulled one, but and it's kind of hard to see it too, but it's right there, somewhere in that jersey. All right, so next, this is a card from 2001 Topps. This was a pretty good defensive center fielder, played for the Dodgers, Royals, Rangers. Happy to get his autograph here on a Ranger card, Tom Goodwin. This is opening day as well. Kind of a light hitting player, but he had some speed. 252 stolen bases. All right, next, right around this time, I was living in Frisco, Texas, and Frisco has a minor league team called the Frisco Rough Riders. They're a Double-A team, and this pitcher and two others that were top prospects for the Rangers went by the nickname DVD, and the DVD stood for Danks, Volquez, and Diamond. And John Danks eventually got traded to Chicago. I don't remember for what. Edison Volquez was traded to the Reds in the deal that brought Josh Hamilton to Texas. So nothing wrong with that. Josh Hamilton became an all-star and had some like historic seasons, I guess you can call them, here in Texas, and became one of the greatest players in the franchise's history. So nothing wrong with that. And the third one, Thomas Diamond, which is this guy's the autograph that I got right here, he was a first round pick by the Rangers, was the other person, and he just kind of flamed out. But when I was doing some research on Thomas Diamond, I read an interesting story that is definitely worth mentioning. I think it's pretty cool. So when he was pitching for one of the minor league teams with the Rangers, I want to say it was Single A. Might have been. I don't think it was Frisco, but he was pitching for a minor league team, and he tried to make a pickoff move to first base, and he slipped off the mound. And everybody on, I think it was the Modesto A's, started laughing at him. And so he got up off the mound and walked over to um, the dugout and said, "The next person that laughs is going to take one to the temple." And then he went back to the mound and proceeded to strike out the next three batters on 9 pitches. So basically an immaculate inning at that point. And I think that's kind of cool. The guy clearly got mad and, did what he could to kind of shut the team up. So kind of a cool story, but Thomas Diamond didn't quite pan out. But still, I do have some fond memories of the Frisco Rough Riders teams with DVD, and really happy to get this Thomas Diamond autograph. All right, next we have another former Ranger prospect. Didn't quite pan out. This guy was a catcher. I think this is 2004, 2005, Upper Deck, USA Baseball. This is Taylor Teagarden. Didn't quite pan out, but spent a couple years here, kind of as a platoon sort of catcher. He was a pretty good prospect. Next, this card was not actually won by me. I had actually won an autograph of Brad Fulmer, who was a pretty decent player. But I guess the autograph then couldn't find that autograph. And at the end, when they couldn't find the autograph, they just kind of threw this card as like a replacement into the package. And I actually originally thought that, they had sent it to me as kind of an extra. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool. But then when I was going through all of my stuff, I realized that the Brad Fulmer wasn't in there. And so I'm assuming that they sent this as a replacement. Unfortunately, all the other autographs were in team bags, and they just kind of threw this card on top of the team bags, and it got stuck under the adhesive that holds the team bag together. And it literally ripped off, I think you can see it right here, it ripped off some of the gloss on the back of the card right there. And so, I'm not going to complain because I like the autograph then, and you get fantastic deals when you're getting autographs for a penny and stuff like that. You can't complain. I did pay 99 cents for the Fulmer, but it's not worth complaining over. But still, the card got stuck because they didn't stick it in the team bag, and a piece of it got ripped off. And it doesn't matter because I've never heard of Quentin Davis. I even tried to look him up. I couldn't find much on him, so I don't think he made the majors or anything. I do like how he's choked up, though. That's old school. This is a first Bowman card. What year is this? 2008 Topps, or 2008 Bowman. What am I thinking? And then there's his autograph. Kind of an interesting autograph, but never heard of Quentin Davis, and a little disappointed that the card got a little messed up. But if you actually see, you can see some I guess, some stuff from some other TTMs or something like that on the back. So, I mean, the card's pretty much damaged on the back anyway, so nothing to really complain about, but still, this is what I got for Brad Fulmer's autographs. Kind of an interesting story. All right, next, this guy, I remember being a pretty big prospect for a while, but he didn't really quite pan out. He's kind of a below-average pitcher. I think he might have even pitched a season for the Rangers, but I'd have to double-check that. But this is a 2010 Bowman Platinum of Shelby Miller. The autograph does look kind of cool on this sort of glossy sort of finish. Sometimes the autographs will bubble up on cards like this, but this one definitely looks nice. They might have taken a page from John Burgess's book where he uses a dryer sheet, because that definitely looks like a nice autograph on there. But yeah, Shelby Miller, pretty decent pitcher. All right, next, this guy spent 5 or 6 years with the Rangers. I remember being really excited when this guy was drafted by the Rangers in the Rule 5 draft from Houston. and kind of excited to get this guy's autograph. I was a huge fan of his father, and it's kind of funny how you sort of gravitate to the players that are kids of former players that you appreciated in the past. Vlad Guerrero Jr., Bobby Witt Jr., Bo Bichette, players like that. Ken Griffey Jr. Back in the day in the '80s. You sort of gravitate. Now, some of them become like all-time greats and stuff like Griffey, but some of them you're interested in them a little bit more than your average prospect. And I could say that that's the same for this guy. I was really hoping that this guy would turn into like a star, and he turned into a pretty decent player. But anyway, it's Delino DeShields Jr. Here he is on his first Bowman card. What year is this? I want to say this is 2010. I think this is 2010. And he was actually a first round pick from the Astros, so kind of surprising that he was left available in the Rule 5 draft. But the Rangers picked him up. He spent several years here. And nice little autograph. It's kind of hard to see, but that's a nice little autograph right there. And there were several other Delino DeShields autographs on there, but just ended up getting this one, this first Bowman. And I was a big fan of his father with Delino DeShields. They had some great teams with Montreal, with DeShields and Marquise Grissom and Moises Alou. And Pedro was there for a little bit. Definitely had some nice teams over there. But happy to get that one. Next, we have another Ranger. This guy spent several years with the Rangers. Kind of an average pitcher, but still Scott Feldman. Happy to get this. Oh, this thing right here. This little necklace. These necklaces were supposedly supposed to give you energy or something like that, and I remember a lot of players wearing these. I never bought into that. These necklaces give you some sort of energy or whatever. But it's kind of cool to see that on him. As far as I was concerned, that was snake oil. But I don't know. Anybody else that's watching this video wear these necklaces? Did you feel extra energy? Because I never bought into it. But whatever. All right, next, this was a pretty good player for the Rangers. He had horrible batting averages, if I remember right, but he definitely had some pop, and he was a nice prospect for a while. Then I think eventually he went to the White Sox, and I'm not sure if he's even playing anymore, but this is Nomar Mazara. Kind of a cool autograph to get. This is a 2014 Bowman. And the last one. Kind of excited to get this one. This is the first autograph from anybody from the Rangers championship team, although he's not on the Rangers in this card, but still really happy to get an autograph of Dane Dunning. Pretty nice pitcher for the Rangers. Did a few good things in the playoffs to help him win the championship. And happy to get this. All right, so that's the baseball autographs that I have for you. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing those. I do have another autograph purchase. Didn't get here. I think I finished the order or whatever. I want to say Thursday or something. So it should be here next week. But it's all over the place, and they're photos. They're not cards, but it's definitely all over the place, like actors and a few Hall of Famers and a few athletes, and I think there's some musicians. It's just a bunch of different stuff. So hopefully you enjoy seeing those when they get here. All right, next, we're already at about 34 minutes, so I'm not even sure if I'm going to get to the 82 tops this year. I might have to postpone that till next week. I want to apologize for that, because I still have the set that I want to show, and I'll be talking a little bit for these next couple cards that I want to be showing, because I want to give a little bit of the history of these players. They're Japanese baseball players, all Hall of Famers, all all-time greats, and so I definitely want to tell a little bit about those players. Um, so I don't think I'll get to the 82 tops today. So anyway, let me go ahead and start with the one MLB card that I picked up this week. This is a 1959 tops Hall of Famer Hoyt Wilhelm. And I saw this for sale, and I was like, man, that's a great looking card. It looked really sharp. I love the white of the borders. And I am a big fan of Hoyt Wilhelm. But unfortunately, this one has kind of a crease right here. And it's definitely a crease because you can see it on the back. It's not a wrinkle. I think you can see it right there, but it goes all the way across each edge. So a little bit disappointed about that, but I did get this for a better than average price for this card, so I can't really complain. And yeah, there you can see the crease on the back. So it's a pretty fairly significant crease. But still, otherwise, great eye appeal for this card. Definitely happy to get this into the collection, although, I guess I would like to replace this at some point. Messed up corners don't really bug me. Centering doesn't really bug me, but creases do. So, I might have to get a replacement for this at some point and then throw this back up on eBay. But nice placeholder for now. It does look pretty nice. So. All right, next we have 3 Japanese baseball cards, all Hall of Famers, all-time greats. And have a little bit of a story about this first purchase. So all of these were purchased from Robert at Prestige Collectibles. He does have a YouTube channel. If you haven't checked it out and you love Japanese baseball cards, definitely go check it out. He's got some of the best stuff out there, I promise. He does fairly often have auctions on his own website, and there's some of the hardest to find stuff on there that you can imagine in his auctions, and he just has absolutely amazing stuff. And so I won this card, and there was another card that I was actually bidding on at the time from the same set, but I wasn't able to win it. It went a little past what I was comfortable paying for it, and it wasn't that much. I think $20. But once it got past 20, I was like, no, I'm going to draw the line at 20 and move on. And when the card that I won arrived, the other card that I was bidding on was in the package. And so I sent a message to Robert, and I said, the card that I ordered arrived safely. Thank you very much. However, I think you sent me this other card by mistake. And I sent him the picture, and, I waited for a response, and he said, I thought I had sent that card to somebody else. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and keep it. Thank you so much. And so really thoughtful of Robert to allow me to keep this card. I did respond saying that if the buyer wanted the card, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to send it out to you. Because this is definitely one of the all-time greats, and I'm super ecstatic to have this card in my collection, especially considering I had bid on it and didn't decide to take the price any higher. So really happy to have got this card, even if it was by mistake. But enough rambling. Let me go ahead and start with the card that I did buy. And this is a 1948 JBR 20 bromide of Hall of Famer Hideo Fujimoto. And this card is absolutely gorgeous, super sharp. And this card is very thin. It's a little thicker than paper, but it might be just one step above, like maybe like a computer paper, like a thicker sort of paper, because it's pretty thin. But yeah, there's the back. I did not translate that with Google Translate, so I'm not sure what it says. But I do have the Wikipedia up for these players that I'm going to be showing. So let me tell you a little bit about Hideo Fujimoto. I have talked about Hideo Fujimoto before, but just to refresh people's memories or introduce some new viewers to Hideo Fujimoto. Hideo Fujimoto played from 42 to 55. He had a win-loss record of 200 wins, 87 losses with an ERA of 1.90. He had 1,177 strikeouts, and he had a 697 winning percentage. Some of his career highlights: he won the Japanese Triple Crown, the pitching Triple Crown in 1943. He won the Eiji Sawamura Award in 1949. He won 3 ERA titles in 43, 46, and 49. He was a 2-time All-Star. He pitched a perfect game June 28, 1950, and he had 2 career no-hitters, and he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1976. Hideo Fujimoto holds the Japanese record for the lowest career ERA with 1.90, and he has the lowest seasonal ERA at 0.73. Now think about that. Bob Gibson's got the MLB record at 1.12. Hideo Fujimoto had a season where he had an 0.73 ERA. And he also has the best all-time winning percentage in MPB history with 697. And let's see what else. He also occasionally played outfield, and he spent significant time in the outfield in 1948, which is actually the year that this card came out. And he hit 245 for his career with 15 home runs, including 7 round trippers in 1950 alone. And yeah, so that's Hideo Fujimoto. Don't want to spend too much time looking through the Wikipedia page, but really happy to get this card. And again, it's in gorgeous shape. I can't imagine there's too many copies that are in as good a condition as this. So really happy to get this card. Really happy to have been able to win it. Definitely happy to add that to the collection. All right. Now, as far as the card that was sent to me, this is definitely one of the all-time greats. He was probably the best player of this era. He had the nickname the God of Batting, the God of Hitting. And this is just a gorgeous image. This is Tetsuharu Kawakami. And just look at this image. You can see all of the stands in the background. You got the bat rack right there. Love the bat rack. He's got 2 bats that he's leaning on for the photo. Just a gorgeous looking image. There's the back. And Tetsuharu Kawakami was not just one of the greatest ball players in history, but he was one of the greatest managers in history as well. So let me give you a little bit about Tetsuharu Kawakami. As I said, he was called the God of Batting, the God of Hitting. He played from the spring of 1938 to 1958. He had a .313 batting average, 2,351 hits, and I believe he was the first person to pass 2,000 hits as well. He also had 181 home runs, 1,319 RBIs, 1,028 runs, and 220 stolen bases. Some of his career highlights: as I said, he was a manager, and he was an 11-time Japan Series champion as a manager. He won in 61, 63, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, and 73. Wow. He was also a 3-time Japanese Baseball League MVP in 41, 51, and 55. He was a 5-time Central League batting champion, 2-time Central League home run champion, 3-time Central League RBI champion. He hit for the cycle July 25th, 1954, and his number 16 is retired by the Yomiuri Giants. He was inducted into the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame in 1965. So let me see what else is notable right here. Yeah, as a manager, from 61 to 74, he was known for his ruthless, tough love style, but he led the Yomiuri Giants to 9 consecutive championships. He went 1,066 and 739 in 61 as a manager, while winning 44 of 62 playoff games, both of which are still the best marks in Giants history. So, absolutely amazing player, amazing manager. Tetsuharu Kawakami. And again, Robert, if you ever see this video, thank you again for your amazing generosity. And as I said, if the buyer of this card wants it, I'll be more than happy to ship it out to you. And thank you so much for your amazing generosity. And absolutely love your content on YouTube and love your auctions. And really happy to get this card into the collection for sure. All right, so the last card, I'm really happy to get this one. This is probably my favorite Japanese pitcher of all time. This is a 1952-53 JK20 Karuta. And this is the oldest card of this player that I have. I think I had like a 56 or 57. So this 52-53 is much older than that. I believe his rookie was 1950. And I would love to get one of those one day, but no, that's definitely out of my price range for the moment. But really happy to get this card. This card is in pretty nice shape, I would say. And this is Masaichi Kaneda. And this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous looking card. I love the Karuta cards, the designs, the colors, and the numbers. I'm not sure how to play the game, but this one does have a little bit of chipping right here. And I would imagine, because this is kind of a thick stock, I don't know if you can see it in the top loader, and I don't really want to pull this out, but it's kind of a thicker card stock, so it's got a little bit of chipping right here. And I think that these were hand cut, because it's kind of got a little bit of a rough cut right here and down here, but I don't know if that was manufactured or not. But I would guess that this is a hand cut card. I think they would probably have come in sheets or something, but just a gorgeous looking card. Really happy to get this. And the back is kind of like wallpaper or something. But it's still kind of cool. Yeah, just a gorgeous, gorgeous looking card. But let me tell you a little bit about Masaichi Kaneda. He is the only Japanese pitcher to have won 400 games. He was inducted into the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame in 1988. He was nicknamed the Emperor because he was the most dominant pitcher in Japan during his prime. And he holds numerous MPB records. He also won his 400 games despite being on an extremely weak team, the Kokutetsu Swallows, for most of his career, and about 90% of his 400 career wins came with the Swallows. He played from 1950 to 1969. He was 402.98 win-loss record. His ERA was 2.34. He had 4,490 strikeouts. He won the Japanese Triple Crown in 1958. He was a 14-time 20-game winner. 3-time Eiji Sawamura Award winner, 1956 through 58. He was a 10-time strikeout leader, 3-time ERA leader. He pitched 2 no-hitters, including a perfect game, August 21st, 1957. And his number 34 is retired by the Yomiuri Giants. And as I said, he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1988. Some of his notable MPB records are most complete games, 365, most wins, 400, most losses, 298, most strikeouts, 4,490, most innings pitched, 5,526 and 2/3 innings, most walks, 1,808, and his 82 career shutouts is only one behind Victor Starfin for the most in history. He also has the most home runs of any Japanese pitcher, 36, and is one of the few pitchers that played in over 1,000 games. He also led the league in victories 3 times, which I don't think I mentioned. And he also holds the MPB record for career ejections, 8, before he was passed by Tuffy Rhodes in 2005. So absolutely amazing, amazing player. There is one more stat that I would like to mention. In the 1958 season opener, Masaichi Kaneda struck out Yomiuri Giant rookie Shigeo Nagashima in all 4 of his at-bats. And he did the same thing in 1959 against Sadaharu Oh in his first professional game. So Masaichi Kaneda, when facing probably the 2 greatest players in MPB history in their debuts, and struck out each of them in 4 at-bats. Wow. That's a really cool stat. So anyway, that's Masaichi Kaneda, definitely one of the all-time greats. If you hadn't heard of any of these players, hopefully you enjoyed learning about them. And if you'd like to learn more, definitely read about them on Wikipedia or wherever. Just amazing, amazing, amazing players. All three of them: Hideo Fujimoto, Tetsuharu Kawakami, and Masaichi Kaneda. And yeah, definitely some of the best ever. I'm really happy to get these cards into the collection. All right, so yeah, now we're at 50 minutes, so I'm definitely not going to get to the 82 tops starter set. I will push that back till next week because I want to show this set that I picked up. And really excited to get this set because this set is not easy to find. Let me go ahead and move it closer to reach. And so this is the 1935 Amalgamated Press, the Pilot Football Fame complete set. Now this is a 32 card set, but what's unique about this set is that these cards were only available in issues of the Pilot, a magazine that was put out around this time. And these cards were put out in sheets of 4 over an 8-week period. So if you can imagine, unless you had a subscription to the Pilot, it was really hard to get this complete set. And so really fortunate to have picked this up. I learned about this set from Ryan at History Through Cards probably about 2 years ago now. He sent me a link for probably the best player in this set and said, you might want to take a look at this card. This card is really hard to find. And I actually have it right here on my mat, and I wanted to point it out. And this is one of the cards in the set. This is what the set looks like. This is Stanley Matthews, one of the greatest players in history. And this card that's on my mat, I actually sent this to Ryan as a Christmas present a couple years back. So this is the one card on the mat that I didn't have anymore. And I thought that I would be able to pick up another one, in a reasonable amount of time. But I didn't find one that I liked until I actually found this set. So now I have another one of these cards that I'm happy with, and really happy that Ryan got this card into his collection because, Stanley Matthews is one of the greatest players of all time. And so now I have all the cards on my mat again. But what another thing that was cool about this auction win is it actually came with the album. And here it is. This is the album from the 1935 set. Now, it's definitely in rough shape. You can see the border is kind of rough, and it looks like somebody was gnawing, or something was gnawing on these edges, or somebody decided to rip a piece off or something. I don't know. But yeah, this is really cool to have. I don't have, now I know a lot of these cards, these sets had albums to put the cards in, but I don't usually bother to look for the albums and stuff like that because I have no interest in using the albums because obviously it damages cards and stuff. But this is kind of really cool to get, just if anything, to use it as a book and kind of look at some of this stuff. As you can see, there's some tape kind of holding this together. And when I get to kind of the middle, you'll see that the staples in this are pretty rusted out, but still really cool to get. And it talks about all the different players. And so I'm not going to read too much about these players because the video is pretty long as it is, but I will kind of bring these up to the screen so you can kind of see it or pause it if you want to read this. I'll try to be very careful with this because this is from 1935. This is an 89-year-old set, so an 89-year-old album. So I don't want this thing kind of disintegrating in my hands. But I will. I guess there's the Dowdy Defenders. Kind of let you see what these pages look like. Some of what they're saying about each of the players. And I think, now I don't know a whole lot about football or soccer. I probably know more about this era than most eras, just because there are a lot of sets available and stuff from this time period. But from what I was able to find, I think there's only 5 Hall of Famers in this set. But still, this set definitely has like a scarcity to it, and the fact that these were basically in sheets of 4 that were hand cut out of a magazine from 1935. There's the rusted staples right there. I just think this is really cool to have found. On top of getting that Stanley Matthews back into the collection, because I am a fan of Stanley Matthews and do have quite a few of his cards. And this is definitely, I think this 1935, his rookie was 34. So this says second year Stanley Matthews as well. And the last page. So that is the album for the 1935 Amalgamated Press, the Pilot Football Fame set. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing that. And the Amalgamated Press is, I guess, the company that put out the Pilot. Let's go ahead and get started showing the cards from this set. And I don't have a whole lot to say about most of them, so I'm just going to be showing them. I'm going off a trading card database. I can kind of tell you, at the very least, what some of them say. What they say. Some of them are rookie cards, like this one. This is Andrew Anderson, and this is supposedly his rookie card. But that sometimes the older cards aren't quite complete, in the registry or whatever on the site. So, as far as they have listed, this is the earliest card for Andrew Anderson. As you can see, kind of a rough cut on some of these. Being in the albums, I would imagine that was closest to the bind of the book or whatever. This one right here, this is Die Astley. Next, we have Jack Barker. And I actually found a website that actually had the list of how each of these cards were set in the sheets. And after I show these cards, I'm gonna see. I don't know. I mean, since I'm not going to show the 82, I'm going to kind of put the 4 cards together as they would have looked in the sheets in the pilot pilot magazines back in 1935. But this is Jack Barker, because I'm kind of interested to see that, and maybe some of you will as well. This is Jack Barker, and no telling if these all came from the same sheets or not. But anyway, this is the first Hall of Famer that I am showing. This is Cliff Baston. He's an English football Hall of Famer, 2009. And he's also Arsenal's 3rd highest goal scorer ever. So definitely a really nice player. Definitely has some corner wear on this one. But wasn't really familiar with Cliff Baston until I looked him up for the research for this set. So really happy to get a card of a player of that caliber. Next we have Ernie Blinkensop. And he's not a Hall of Famer, but he's regarded as one of the best fullbacks of his generation. And this one looks like somebody sort of ripped a little piece of it off or something. This was probably like ripped out of the magazine, and then somebody a little later along the line decided to kind of trim it up, make it look a little better. But I don't mind too much. Next we have Cliff Britton. This one's got a little bit of rough corners. A little staining on the back. All right, next. This is another really good player, not a Hall of Famer, but definitely worth noting. This is Eric Brook, He's regarded as one of Manchester City and England's greatest players. He's also in the Manchester City Hall of Fame. Little off center on the back, a little rough on the edges. Kind of has that peachy rough cut look to it. A little bit of dinging right there. I don't mind. The scarcity of these. I mean, honestly, on eBay, you only really see one or two cards of each of these cards from the set. At any one time, they're really kind of scarce. Next, we have Horace Burroughs, and I guess this is considered his rookie. Next, we have another Hall of Famer. This is Raich Carter. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Raich, Raich Carter. And Raich Carter is an English Football Hall of Famer, inducted in 2013, but he also spent one season playing cricket for Derbyshire in 1946. So he was kind of a multi-sport player, at least for a short period of time. Next, we have Tom Cooper. Next, this is probably the second biggest card in the set. Really happy to get this one. I've definitely wanted this card along with the Stanley Matthews for quite a while. This is Dixie Dean. He's one of the greatest center forwards of all time. He was inducted into the English Football Hall of Fame in 2002. He holds the record for most goals in a single season in top-flight English football history with 60. Definitely one of the best ever. And I try to pick up a few Dixie Dean cards here and there. Definitely happy to get one of his more scarce copies. I think his rookie was 25, though, so sort of in the middle of his career here. Middle to late career. Next, we have Harry Dugan, and this is his rookie card, supposedly. A little bit of a miscut or something there, a little off center. Next, we have Dally Duncan. Next, we have Huey Gallacher. He's also a Hall of Famer. Was inducted in 2014. This card looks pretty nice. Next, we have Tommy Gardner. Sorry about the focus on this one. There we go. All right, next we have Pat Glover. Next, Thomas Griffiths. Next, we have Eddie Hapgood. Something right there. Down along there as well. This might have stayed in the magazine for a while. Picked up a little bit of the print or something. Next, we have Harry Hibbs, which was a pretty good goalie, from what I understand. 'Understand. Next, we have Idris Hopkins. He's a member of the Brentford Hall of Fame. Next, we have John Jackson. Next, this one's probably the roughest condition wise in the group. This one definitely has some surface issues, some paper loss. This is Sid Lawrence. And as you can see, there's spots of paper loss all over the front of this. It's almost like it was a card was stuck to it or something. Maybe one of those tobacco cards with the adhesive backs or something. Yeah, this one's pretty beat up. I might have to replace this card at some point. I'd like to, I guess, if I can find it for a decent price, if I can find it to begin with, because as I said, these are not always the easiest to find. Next, we have Peter McGonigal. I mean, this might all be because of the eBay. There might be other ways to find this stuff that I'm unfamiliar with. Maybe some English websites or something where these are a little easier to find. But as far as eBay, even when looking worldwide, there's very little to choose from as far as this set's concerned. And here is the Stanley Matthews that I showed at the beginning. And this is in really nice shape. Little corner wear, but definitely don't mind. Really happy with the condition of this one. Little staining on the back, but I don't mind that. Definitely looks better than any of the ones that I saw recently on eBay. So really happy to get this card. And I do have a few Stanley Matthews cards in the COM-C order that I put together, but man, the wait time on COM-C right now is absurd. I mean, I placed the order for delivery, I think, January 28th or something, and it's not expected to get here until mid-April. So I don't know what's going on, but, apparently they had like a huge influx of orders or something, because 3 months to wait for an order is absurd. It's definitely like the longest by a long shot, like 6 weeks or something that I've ever had to wait for an order. So no telling when those will get here, but I do have some Matthews cards in that order. All right, next we have supposedly a rookie card of Jimmy Murphy. Next we have rookie card of Charlie Napier. Next we have Taffy O'Callahan. That's a great nickname, Taffy. Next, we have Di Richards. This is, I guess, his rookie card. Rounded corners on this. Next, we have Jimmy Simpson. This is his rookie card, and he's in the Rangers FC Hall of Fame. Just a few cards left to go. Here we've got George Stevenson. Sam Weaver. And Sam Weaver also spent some time playing cricket for the Somerset County Cricket Club. So he was a two-sport athlete. Definitely a rough rip right there. That was definitely like a rip. So it's even ripped into the card. Another card I might have to replace at some point. That's pretty rough. And the last card from the set. This is Ray Westwood. All right, so the next thing that I would like to do is I don't know how long this is going to take. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. I don't want to bore anybody, but I am kind of curious to see what these cards look like as they would have been put in the pilot magazine. First, I didn't even show these. These actually sort of protected the album that I showed earlier, and there are a couple of kind of cool index cards. This is the Cotswold. I'm not sure the Cotswold. This one's kind of a blank postcard. It's got some creasing and stuff, but still kind of cool. Thought these were a little bit worth showing. And this one actually has some writing on it. It's got a kind of an interesting image. So I'll show that. And this is postmark 1969. So that's kind of cool. Old stamp on it. I'll let you see that. I'm not going to read that, but if you want to see that, this is, I guess, J. Arthur Dixon. And there's a little bit about the Coracle Man. All right, so just wanted to show those. Hopefully you thought those were cool. And let me go ahead and start looking for these sheets. So sheet 1 would have been Westwood. The last card we saw. And then Astley, that should be pretty easy to find. There we go, Astley. Murphy. It's good that these are in alphabetical order. There's Murphy. And Lawrence. That's the one. That's pretty rough. So this would have been sheet number 1. See that. There's a little bit of a glare on this last card, but hopefully you can see those. So that would have been what the first sheet looked like. And just looking at this, these two might have been put together. I think that lines up. But this one, anyway, this is cut right here, and this looks like it was ripped out of an album right here. So I would guess that these two might not have been together. Although these 3 could have possibly been together. I would kind of have to take them out of the top loaders and see if they do fit together, but that would be the first sheet. All right, the second sheet, we have Gardner. There's Gardner. Brooke. Napier. And Hapgood. So that would have been the next one. And just looking at these, I'm not sure that these would have been from the same set, but maybe these all look like they have like ripped or rough cut edges. So it's possible this one's more of a cleaner, almost a cut. So if I were to guess, and this does kind of look like it's a little off, so that maybe those were together at some point. And that one, it does have a rough cut, so it is possible. So maybe these 3 might have been put together like the first one that I showed, but I'm not sure that these 2 went together unless this was just like a rough edge and they decided to kind of clean it up. That's sheet number 2. So that would have been the second week. This is Baston. Actually, I don't know if these are the weeks that they were actually put out. It doesn't say that. It just says sheet 1, 2, 3. So it could have been the order in which they were released, but it might just be that they're listing the sheets. Hopkins. Jackson, and Richards. There we go. So that's sheet number 3. So these all look like they were trimmed up. So I don't think there's any way to tell if these were actually together in the same sheet, but originally they were. Whether it was this group or not, I'm not sure. I would guess that with the, you look at the edges, these two are closer, and these two are closer. So these two might have been together like this, these two, and then these two on the same sheet, but I'm not sure that all of them were together because the edges don't quite line up, but still, that's what the sheet would have looked like. This is actually kind of cool to see. I'm really happy that I found this website. So next we have Gallagher and Britton, Stevenson, and Hibbs. All right, so this is sheet number 4. Gallagher is a Hall of Famer. Yeah, it's not Britton, it's Baston that's the Hall of Famer. And then Hibbs is a pretty good player, so Hall of Famer on this one. Again, I'm not sure that these went together. It looks like these are kind of lined up and these are kind of lined up. So it's kind of interesting that the first 2 sheets, it seemed like the first 3 were in order, but I wasn't sure about the 4th. And then the last 2 sheets that I've shown, it almost looks like the 2 on the ends match up and the 2 in the middle match up, at least border-wise. But I still can't confirm any of that. But it is kind of interesting how there's a little bit of a pattern with those. All right, so number 5. This is Duncan, Leekensop, Burroughs, and Stanley Matthews. All right, well, this is the one with the ripped edge. So it doesn't look like it came from this one because this one's pretty clean, but I guess they could have just trimmed that up. And again, it kind of looks like these two and these two line up a little bit. I can't confirm it. Yeah, Matthews is probably the greatest card in the set, so that's kind of cool. I don't think any of the others are Hall of Famers. Let me double check. No, it doesn't look like it. Leekensop was a pretty good player, I guess. But yeah, that's sheet number 5. Got 3 more sheets to go. Hopefully you're enjoying this. So we got McGonigal, Callahan, Barker, and Dugan. And again, this is interesting. It looks like these 2 borders line up, and these, you can tell by the miscut that these probably were on the same sheet because just how they're miscut. That's interesting. But now instead of the 2 in the middle and the 2 on the outside, we actually got this and this. So that's interesting. So it seems like this might have been like 2 groups of sets or something like that at some point. Maybe somebody had 2 sets of this and kind of mixed them up for condition or something. I don't know. Next we have Griffiths and Dixie Dean and Weaver and Anderson. And second best card in the set. Now in this one, it doesn't look like this one has any goes with any of these other three. This one has that rip in it, and this one has a rough edge, so it is possible that those two are together. I mean, all three of these kind of look like they're similar as far as the edges. But it's possible that none of these actually went together. That's the first time I could say that I didn't see similarities. I guess these two are a little bit close. This one looks like it's a little off. But I don't know, it might be the lighting. But anyway, that's the second to last sheet. And the last one, got Cooper, Glover, Carter, and Simpson. Again, this one doesn't look like it lines up with any of them. These two look similar. Even this one. Actually, these two look similar. This one is a little off on the top. They look similar on the bottom, but this one looks like it's shorter. They might have even trimmed it on the top slightly. But these two do sort of look like they went together. I don't know about these two. Neither of these have similar edges to the others. But anyway, that's the last sheet. So kind of cool to see those as they would have been put into the Pilot magazine. So anyway, that is the 1935 Amalgamated Press, the Pilot Football Fame complete set. Really excited to have found that. Yeah, anytime you can get a complete set that you kind of consider to be, not rare or scarce. I can't confirm that, but it's definitely hard to find. You got to feel good about that, and really happy to add that set to the collection. Especially with that Stanley Matthews being one of the best players ever. Really happy to get that card for sure. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the video tonight. I want to apologize again for not getting to the 1982 Topps baseball starter set. But yeah, we're already at an hour and 22 minutes. If I did that, that would be another 15, probably 25 minutes to finish that. So just makes sense to move it to next week. So we have that to look forward to next week. But hopefully you enjoyed the video tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming to the Spine Ticks after party. And I want to thank everybody that catches the video on the replay. And until next week, thanks for watching the video, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.